Crime is a disease, and like any virus, it attacks an area of weakness. Just like, you get sick when you're exhausted and run down, crime flourishes in neglected areas, like Democratic-run cities, where chaos has run rampant for decades. In the 1970s and 80s, things were so bad in New York, the city was called the Killing Fields.
Just imagine World War II bombed out Berlin. It was just a war zone.
Arson, murder, robbery, rape, burglary.
It was considered the murder capital of the United States. The worst ghetto in all of the United States.
But after decades of terror in the Big Apple, Rudy Giuliani rode in like a white knight and took care of business. He used the government to actually make life better for his residents and cleaned up the streets. And guess what? It worked. He tackled crime and laid out the big city blueprint for safety. Enforce your laws, keep criminals in line, and above all, support your police. Seems like an easy recipe for success, right? Yet somehow, 30 years later, every Democratic big-run city has screwed this up. The left has worked tirelessly to defund police and put criminals back on the streets. Stupid ideas like eliminating cash bail have put us all at risk. You're officially on your own. And nowhere is that more evident than in Lori Lightfoot's Chicago. The same lady who tried to cut her police budget by $50 million 2 years ago has seen a nearly 40% jump in crime in the last 12 months. Things are so bad, even the Bears are bailing on Chicago and running to the suburbs. You want to go shopping in the Windy City? You might be risking your life. Check out this video from last week, where one man was sucker punched while just standing there at the store counter. It didn't take long for things to escalate as he pulled out a gun and opened fire, killing the 19-year-old man who started the fight. Boom. So, what's Chicago's answer to this chaos? More cops? More funding? No. It's getting rid of cash bail, because that makes sense. And these problems might start in the city, but it doesn't take long until it spreads to the suburbs. Listen to the mayor of this Chicago suburb tell us what's coming.
As of January 1st, 2023, the following things will go into effect, and people need to be aware of this. It abolishes cash bail for almost every offense. This includes, but isn't limited to, kidnapping, armed robbery, second-degree murder, drug-induced homicide, aggravated DUI, threatening a public official, and aggravated fleeing and eluding. Offenders released on electronic monitoring have to be in violation for 48 hours before law enforcement can act. They could almost drive to Alaska before we can even look for them. It denies victims their constitutional rights. And keep this in mind, businesses and homeowners. Officers will no longer be able to remove trespassers from your residence or your businesses. Someone could decide to live in your shed, and all we can do is give them a ticket. You have to decide what level of force is required to remove them and whether or not it's legal. This is a massive threat to the residents of Orland Park, Cook County, and Illinois.
So let me get this straight. You can kidnap my kid before lunch and be home by dinner? What the hell is that? And what's the point of ankle bracelets if police can't catch you until you're in Alaska? Why even have a government if it takes the side of the bad guys? Because this isn't just a Windy City problem. This is going to be in your backyard soon. We're already seeing it play out in Tennessee. On Wednesday, a maniac live streamed a shooting spree across the whole city, killing 4 and injuring 3. But this lunatic shouldn't have even been on the streets. He was charged with attempted first-degree murder just 2 years ago. Yet the district attorney at the time, Amy Weirich, and the judge, Glenn Wright, signed off on a soft plea deal that let this man loose in the city. What message do you think that sends other criminals across the city? They look at that and they say, I can get away with anything. It only took one day for copycats like these guys to post threats against whites on social media.
White folk gonna hate black people. I know it.
Hey, first Elisa Fletcher.
Let me take the racism. I get any on the side of me don't get popped tonight. We already shot a white old man. I'm finna shoot a white old lady. While grandkids in the car.
How much more can Memphis take? The city was already reeling from that kidnap and murder of a local teacher. People are tired. They need their government to do something. This local reporter summed up what pretty much everyone's feeling.
This is not a joke. This is an extremely dangerous situation, and I know Memphis is tired right now. Yeah, I'm good. I'm with you all. Memphis is tired right now. Bear with me. It's a very nerve-wracking night. It has been a very difficult week.
The people are literally crying out for help, but the government's not doing anything. The government's actually doing less. In Washington, D.C., crooks are climbing up on trees and telephone lines to avoid arrest like this is some kind of game. I mean, they used to get calls for getting cats out of the tree. Now look at this. And suspects aren't just running from the police, they're running at police. This guy in Arizona just robbed a gas station and then ran at an officer with a screwdriver.
You're not down.
Drop the screwdriver.
No.
Drop it.
The man's obviously mentally ill. What happened to the billions of dollars that we give the government to help people like that? The federal government took in more tax revenue than they ever have in the history of America last year. Where is the money going? The Democrats are always saying the government's there to help people. Why aren't they helping anybody? All these people who need help. And San Francisco is the worst. There's a famous song that goes, if you're going to San Francisco, be sure to wear flowers in your hair. I'm not going to sing it like that, though. But forget the flowers. You got to wear a suit of armor. Look at this scene on the streets. The only thing missing is the flaming garbage can. Honestly, I'd rather be in Ukraine. Ukraine looks safer than that. And maybe Biden, while he's saving Ukraine, can save San Francisco. By the way, who's in charge of San Francisco? Gavin Newsom, Nancy Pelosi? How does the media let them get away with something like this? Why doesn't a reporter take their phone and put this footage in Nancy's face and say, Nancy, this is your city. What are we doing about this? That'll never happen because reporters, they don't want action. They want access. These politicians don't care about their people. We cannot rely on the government anymore for anything. So I'm not going to waste my time telling these officials what they need to do anymore. We have to address the other half of the problem. So tonight, I'm going to talk directly to the homeless, drug addicts, and ex-cons. You're better than this. Pick yourself up and pay attention. Here's the plan of action. Get a motel room for an hour and take a shower. Then shave your face. Walk to the thrift shop, buy clean clothes. Get some new shoes. Then you go to the barber shop and you get your hair cut. You stare in that mirror during the haircut. Your face is clean, you smell clean, you got a new shirt. Look into your own eyes in the mirror. See the real you and say to yourself, this is who I am. Then you hop on a bus and get as far away from your sleazy crew as possible. Go back to your family, or if you can't, get outside of that city where there's not a dealer on every block and get yourself a job. Any job. Because a job gives you purpose. Take a broom, an apron, a lawnmower, I don't care. Do what you got to do. Work all day and then save money. Save 10% of your paycheck, put it away. And then drink a lot of water, do some push-ups, go for a walk, find a book, read, sleep all night and work all day. It's that simple. Listen to your conscience. You know what's right and what's wrong. Live in the moment, and every moment's an opportunity to make a decision. Who do you want to be? You want to be better. And that's how you get a fresh start. Your life will change if you do these things. And you don't have to thank me.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.